February. It is a bonus video. I normally don't upload on Saturdays, but here we are. I wanted to make a fun little video talking about palettes in my collection, also rummaging through my sister's collection that have color stories that are perfect for Valentine's Day, whether it be reds, pinks, or purples. Not necessarily the outer packaging, but what's inside is what matters. Hi, hello, if you're new here, my name is Violet, and I'm excited to have you. Welcome to Violet's Vanity, where I love to talk about makeup and use what I have in my collection, and mostly sport the eyeshadow. So if that sounds interesting, then definitely keep on watching. I pulled out 14 different palettes. Some of these are from my collection, some of these are from my sister's, because I felt like these are also still appropriate, and some of these you might have in your collection still. We like to use what we have here on this channel. There is a lot from ColourPop, which I try to stray away because I no longer buy from them. I no longer really want to buy from them. I just feel like there's better quality out there for either a little bit more or about the same price, and I'm honestly tired of ColourPop. They release way too much. It's a whole other story, but that's my little synopsis of why. They are in no particular order, but I am going to start off with ColourPop because I do have quite the stack in front of me, and it is their monochromatic palettes that they came out with. The first one is their Ooh La La palette, which is the pink variation, and this one, the shadow is kind of shattered, but as you can see, it is your pops of pinks, bright pinks, with a little bit of deepening shades on the more berry, purpley tones, and you have this little pop of gold for just something different, and I think that this is just Valentine's Day. It's very feminine, very girly, very pretty, very just bright, not so wearable. I mean, pinks and reds are not really on the wearable side, but you can definitely have fun if you don't have a professional or a very mature day to wear this on. Then you can just use this to play. The next one from their monochromatic line is the Wine and Only palette. This one is your wine tones. It's more deeper, more smokier, more sultry, more sexier. These tones all are on the more darker side, so you don't really have a lot of light tones or mid tones. It is just like a real, like I mentioned, smoky, heavy, deeper sort of color story. You have a lot of shimmers in here. You have some of your sequin shades. You have like a little bit of red, so you have a little bit more of like a burgundy reddish tone to further deepen things up even more if you like. Some of these you can definitely wear just as like a one and done, or some of these shimmers as a one and done, but this gives the smoky date night sort of effect. Next one is this one that I just used in January, the Orchid You Not palette. And again, this one is also like similar to the One and Only. It's more of your deeper tones. There is somewhat mid tones in here, not really light tones or like a gradient in here, but you can definitely create some really pretty looks into this, and also combine this with other palettes in your collection. You do have some really pretty shimmer shades up here. These deepening tones are so beautiful, and yeah, it's just, you have your like purpley side to Valentine's Day with this palette. And the last monochromatic mention palette I wanted to show y'all is the It's My Pleasure palette. This is the one I have in for February for my No Pan Left Behind eyeshadow project pan monthly challenge thing that I have going on. This one is very much playful purples, very much girly purples. You have some light tones, you have a mid tone, you do have a deeper tone, but you do have a lot of more variation in your shimmers in this one. You have some lights, you have some darks, you have some shifts in here. It's a very like almost well-rounded palette, and this one creates so beautiful purple looks. Like, there is just bunch of combinations in here. You can definitely do one and dones, you can definitely do inner corners, you can definitely brighten, you can do one shade all over the look. This one you can take it into like a little bit of a smokier look, so this one is definitely playful and just super fun on the purple side of things. The next palette is a really old school one. Like, this is discontinued and no longer available. This is from Profusion. This is their Mixed Metals Peach palette. Now, peaches are not generally a common color that you hear around Valentine's Day, but peaches is a sort of on the orangey tone, but can be mixed in with pinks to create some like fun, like somewhat like very almost Valentine's Day-esque, but not completely pink or red, so you can kind of play around with these tones and create looks with it that are Valentine's Day appropriate, but they're not too very vibrant or out there. This palette has not been used in a long time, so I can't really speak on its quality because it's not in my collection, but these tones you very much have almost like pink leaning here. You do have some more that are like leaning a little bit orange, but you can definitely create a very wearable everyday if you're comfortable enough to throw in a liquid color, I think this is the direction that I would probably feel like it would be best to go into. You definitely have some in here to deepen. You do have a little bit of range. This is more of light to mid-tone. There's not really a lot of depth into this, but this could definitely work for Valentine's Day. It's like an unexpected color, but you can still definitely make it work. The next palette comes from Hard Candy, and this is back when Hard Candy used to do this sort of like layout and packaging of their palettes. This one, I want to say, it was supposed to be a dupe for a Huda Beauty palette of some sort. If I remember in editing, I will put it up on the screen. But this one definitely speaks Valentine's Day for me. Of course, with the exception of glitters, which I know most people do not like in their palettes, and I'm definitely leaning towards that direction in my preferences now. But this has your purpley, pinky leaning tones. You do have some very lighter cool tones, some very like wearable mid-tones here. You do have this one like very dark deep tone, which is only your deepening shade, but this one is so pretty. I remember the last time I used this years ago. I definitely enjoyed the look that came out of this. This felt very girly. This very offers that like pinky mood without being like a super bright neon pink or very like heavy deep purple. I'd say like this is more wearable pinks than your typical, you know, some of the pinks that have been you know, made or show up in some of the palettes. The next palette I pulled out or thought of is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. This is the original collaboration one. Now this one doesn't automatically scream Valentine's Day, I think, for most people, because it is heavy leaning warm tones of like the browns and the neutrals, and then you get thrown off by like some of these like teals and like green shades. But for me, if you kind of ignore some of those, you do have some tones here, some shades here that are transition shades, so you can kind of tone down your looks if need be. You do have three sort of like pinky duochrome sort of options here that lean like a little orange, a little deeper pink, and then a lighter pink. You do have a lot more reds here with your matte reds and your shimmer reds, so you can definitely pull this on the red side without it being a super bright neon vibrant red. You definitely can make this on the little bit wearable side because it does offer all of these other tones in here. You do have such an array of light, mid, and deepening tones, and then you can also play it up with this very dark purple or this sort of like blue purple to like tie in some of the purples or the unexpected colors, if you will, that you want to add into your look. But the next palette is coming from Cosmic Beauty. This is their Muse palette. Now, automatically, it didn't really occur to me that this palette could fit for Valentine's Day, but when you think about it, Muse is like an inspiration. You're like inspired by someone, you're like, oh, I want to take appreciation for this person, so in a way it kind of fits because you can do Valentine's Day in a love way or you can do it in a friendly way. And the packaging of this definitely is very romantic. It's very you know, just girly and fun, and like just it's pretty and it fits. But the inside definitely has your pinky purple options for Valentine's Day. You definitely have sort of like a lilac here, or like a pink leaning lilac. You have a pink shimmer. You have more of your deeper purple shimmers here. So you definitely have a few options in here with the your teals, your greens, your neutrals. So you can, you know, definitely have Valentine's Day going into the spring, and that's if you have this palette. So this definitely can work. It's just not in like an immediate like, oh, I think of it, because it doesn't offer a lot of pinks, purples, or reds, but you can definitely pull this out. It's not to say you can't. But the next palette is one that I have pulled out for my February focus palettes. This is the Sigma Enchanted Mini palette. This is a very like subdued, very wearable, very girly, makes you feel pretty sort of color story. You do have some of your pinky tones shining through here. You do have this duochrome, which kind of leans a little bit of purple with like a little bit of a brown base, and then you have more of these like warmer tones here with this little bit, it's like a little bit leaning red. It's not too red heavy, so you definitely can easily use this palette if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, but in a not so aggressive or very like intimidating way. This is can be in like a professional setting, and this quality is definitely so good, and it'll work, you know. Next palette is a Wet n Wild color icon palette. This is the 10-pan palette in Heart and Soul, and this one, it just screams Valentine's Day. Now this is more on the warmer tones of pinks. It does have some oranges in it, but you can definitely create some very pretty, very just warm, very, you know, just Valentine's Day leaning looks in this. You have some of your light tones, which kind of run on the more orangey peachy side. Then you definitely have this more like deep red matte in here, and this like sort of deep purpley pink. You do have some shimmer options to kind of lean it a little bit more orange, lean it more in matching this red matte, this sort of like orangey duochrome color pinks, and then, you know, deepen up. So this definitely offers that gradient, that gradual effect from light, mid, and deeper tones that, you know, you can just create a very effortless, wearable, easy, sort of no fuss look. Next palette is from ColourPop again. This is their Gimme Butterflies palette. This is the Ulta exclusive that was only released at Ulta stores back in like a long time ago. This one always makes me think of Valentine's Day. I mean, you have just your pink tones and then like your few purple tones down here to complete the purple side of things. You have a very bright pink in here. This is probably one of my favorite shades in this palette. You do have a glitter, so you can totally ignore that or replace that with a whole other color in your actually 2 glitters, excuse me. So you can definitely replace those in your collection with other shades that better suit this palette or that are not so dangerous to the eyes or the immediate eye area. You definitely have, you know, some more like lighter tones to keep it more on the wearable, subdued, more natural sort of tones. You can definitely play it up with this row with the more brighter, very bright. This one is gorgeous. And then you can definitely create a little bit of purpleness into it, add a little bit of purple onto that, or just create like a whole monochromatic purple look. This one is just so pretty and just definitely screams Valentine's Day without it being labeled Valentine's Day or love or hearts or whatever. The next palette is also another one that is featured in my February Focus palettes because this is the city of love. This is the BH Passion in Paris palette. Paris is the city of a romance, of love. A lot of people go to the Eiffel Tower to get engaged or married, and it's a very romanticized city, so obviously we're going to pick this palette and I'm going to put it in here as well. Now this one doesn't scream immediate Valentine's Day because of the lack of pinks in here, but this does have your more cooler tone purples and your little bit of blue that you can lean into purple depending on what shades you pair with it. Then you have your bottom row here of red options. You have your more purple leaning red, then you have your more just like cooler red, but it can definitely lean either purple or red, just depending on how you add it in here. The fun pops of blues and teal in here, and like this sort of silver shade. It definitely adds the fun, you know, uniqueness or pops of colors, sort of pops of color into your look that you could add into it. But this one, it's love. Automatically screams it for me. Next palette also comes from ColourPop and should be the last ColourPop palette I mentioned. This is the Girls Night Out with collaboration with the show movie franchise called Bratz. Now this one is very much, I said it, it's very girly, it's very feminine, it's very fun. Girls Night Out, you can play it in the daytime, you can play it for the nighttime. It's just all across the board, like an all-day palette, in my opinion. You can definitely, you know, keep it very fun and vibrant and light with some of these lighter tones. You can definitely have fun with like the little bit of pops of color of the blue. You can definitely keep it smoky or nighttime, or even every day if you just kind of go light-handed with some of these tones. But you have the pinks and the purples in here. You do have different textures in here. You have sort of like the glitter, but it's not like the big chunky glitter that we've seen previously or like in the previous palette. But this one is definitely, and there was a look I created with this one that I was just like, I loved, and it's very much Valentine's Day purple appropriate, and I absolutely love this. The next palette is from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is their Fall Magic palette. Now, you think fall, you don't really think Valentine's Day, you think more of the greens and the browns and the reds and the more like, not so jewel tones, but the more warmer tones. And while yes, this one does have some of those options in here, you definitely have a section here where you have your more like pinky, purpley leaning shades. You have this very bubblegum pink shimmer here. You have this one called Autumn, which leans a little bit orange but does have a pink flip to it. Then you have this one where it is more of like a purpley deep, almost royal purple with a little bit of shift into it. And then you can definitely kind of use this one as well, even though it shifts almost like green or purple. So you definitely have some of your options in here. While it's not immediately thought out for Valentine's Day, it's definitely, you can make it work because of those. Now, I have not used this palette. This is a newer one that I have not shown or talked about or used yet. Hopefully in the time come I can use this, but when I opened this one up, I was like, I mean, it could kind of work, and you know, I fit it in here because you can definitely also kind of neutralize it here also with the brown, and then, you know, deepen up even more if you want to with the brown to like soften it up a little bit more or smoke it out a little bit more. But I mean, this one could definitely work. The next palette is the Profusion Festival palette. I mean, this one is a given as to why it is very much appropriate for Valentine's Day, because we do have this column of all pink, and then we have this column of almost all purple. I kind of wish that we had a maybe more darker purple here in placement, because this brown just kind of doesn't fit with those purples. It just doesn't, it's jarring in that way, and it should have been more appropriate in this section. But anyways, that's my little issue with that. But I mean, you have pink tones to, you know, go more lighter, more brighter, fun, and then deepen things up. So you do have a little bit of options in here, and then you do have like other ways that you can go. You can keep it more everyday with a pop of pink, everyday with a pop of purple, so to speak, and you can also play it up with some of these other fun, the blues and the yellows and oranges and things like that. Our second to last palette is the Blend Bunny Blends palette. This one I recently used, well, depending on when this video was up, I used it in a video comparing this one to a previously decluttered rainbow one, and why I went with this one and decluttered the other one, because this one sufficed way better. I will link it down below, but this one clearly, because it's rainbow, it's going to offer you the pink, the purple, and the red all in one. So you definitely have your very easy 3 eyeshadow look of red, 3 eyeshadow look of pink, and 3 eyeshadow look of purple, or you combine the purples with the pinks and the reds and create your Valentine's Day look. So you can definitely have all of your Valentine's Day looks plus more in this entire palette in one. Like I mentioned in the other one before, you have your neutrals where you can just do a neutral with a pop of pink or a neutral with a pop of purple, or you can definitely make it smoky with a fun like Valentine's Day lower lash line, or do an anti-Valentine's Day if you want to. So this one definitely is, and even though it is all matte, you can definitely pull in shimmers from other palettes, or you can just keep it all matte and just keep it very easy, simple, and just stick to one palette. The last palette is the Glamlight and Michaela palette. This is the part one of the very first collab. This one, because of the very bubblegum pinks and all of your array of purples, this is why I sort of put it in here and thought of it. Like I mentioned previously in other palettes, you have your row of more browns and neutrals to kind of tone it down, and then do the pop of your pink and purple if you want to gradually go into color, or if you're not very like, I want to add in a little bit of color, but I don't want it to be like the main focus. I want just a hint of it. I want it to be still wearable, still sort of like approachable, that people can still look at me and talk to me and not feel so intimidated by me. So you definitely have that, and this one is very much leaning of like a brown purple, so you can definitely use that to deepen up your purples here. But you do have sorts of all different range of purple mattes, purple shimmers. You have sort of this like silvery purple, which is super fun. And then of course you have all your other sort of colors, the greens, the blues, and then a few orange and peach tones in here to, you know, play it out, play it down, add some different color into your Valentine's Day looks if you don't want to do strict just pink, purples, and reds. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what is your go-to Valentine's Day palette for this month. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and your week, and I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye, guys. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Violet. I'm super excited to have you here. We're going to be talking about Valentine...